Hello, I'm the artist Michael R. Zotos, and today is July 3rd, 2023. What I want to talk about right now is pricing original artwork. Okay, I have seen quite a few videos on YouTube where people talk about pricing artwork, and they have various ways, and one of which is pricing it by the square inch. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just going to give you my opinion. I don't gravitate to that. Okay, some of these people that I have a lot of respect for some of these people who say this, and often they say, you know, this is a start. It's a way for those people who haven't been selling artwork to break into it and give it a try, and then develop from there. And I think that's a decent idea. But for me, I feel it's rather limiting, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. What I think, just my own view. Original artwork is creative, okay? Now, that's what it's about. It's about creativity. When you give a price, when you already have a set value, okay, prior to creation, you are, I believe, confining your creativity in some fashion, okay? You're creating an envelope. Four corners of the envelope as to what you're going to work within, okay? Even if you want to be creative, even if you are, okay? The other thing is they always seem to talk about, you know, figuring your skill set. And personally, I don't believe there's a skill set to creativity at all, okay? You can wake up tomorrow morning and take a trip on a boat ride, a canoe into the Great South Bay and come out with more creative ideas than going in and out of a million galleries in some instances, okay? So there's no skill set, how the paintbrush strokes, how you do, and that's going to determine your value per square inch. I mean, I don't cater to that, okay? I don't go along with that idea. I feel that, you know, each piece is determined by the artist. You know what you put into it as far as your time and supplies, okay? But it's not reproductions. It's not where you put something up into a digital format and take it up to the printing company, print them out, and you pay by the square foot kind of thing, and now you're going to sell it. That's different, okay? That's a commodity. That's not an original piece of artwork. Now, when I create something that you know, ideas came to me, I put things into it, features into the piece, okay, I know there's a value, more or less of a value for each piece than another. And there's also a lineage. In other words, each piece that you do, in a sense, is a result of previous work and is a launching pad for future work. And you know where your artwork stands there. And if you're creating a lot of pieces, you can't really measure it and say, well, you know, this is number 239 and the next one's 240, so it's worth more or less. You can't really figure it in that way. I've actually seen where people create like one piece every month, and I've seen on a wall maybe 24 pieces laid out, like 6 across, 4 up and down, and they have each month's worth, each piece created and when, and there's a sequence, and each piece has a lineage point okay? I'm not talking about that. In that instance, the pieces are actually created for this purpose. They're created for sales, okay? I'm saying that when you are creative and you come up with something and you feel enlightened by having come up with it and privileged, okay, and you get it on the surface and you do the work, okay, you know what that means to you, and you know what it means in your whole overall, I believe they call it your oeuvre, okay, your entire work, okay, and there's a value there exclusive to each piece, all right? And when you create limits going in before you create the piece, that does not encourage creativity. Now, also, take a look at certain artists. Like, let's say a Picasso. We know all about Picasso's cubism. Supposing he was pricing his artwork before he created it by the inch, and working within that, you really think he's ever going to change and pop out with this cubism? I doubt it. Now another one is Jeff Koons, whose artwork is today, and it's really, I believe, spectacular. Okay, and I think it was 2005, maybe 2006. I was walking down the street in New York City, and I wandered into a gallery, just happenstance, and there was a lot of Jeff Koons work in there. And the first thing I realized was it all had a certain look to it. It's not similar in context, but there was a type of I guess it had to do with the finish. Okay, it was very pristine. You knew, once you seen a Jeff Koons, you knew the next time you saw one, it was Jeff Koons. But I saw very creative works. Okay, there was like kind of a monkey, kind of a piece, a sculpture with Michael Jackson's head on it at the time. Michael Jackson was very popular. There was also a mermaid. It was called, I believe it was a bas relief, where it's kind of like a half section that could be put on the wall, and it'll look like it's popping out of the wall. But these pieces are very creative, and you're not going to develop like that, prepare an artwork to sell by the square inch. Okay. Now, some months later, maybe a year later, I don't remember, I went into the New York, the Metropolitan Museum, and they call it the Met, and I went in the elevator, and I was going up and down different floors, and I for the hell of it, I went to the roof, okay, and the door's open, and I'm out there, and there's this huge sculpture made of metal, with really shiny, bright metal, and it was a balloon dog, a balloon animal, and it really looked like that, okay, and it was a Jeff Koons, and the word on the street was it's worth $80 million, which wasn't really the point that encouraged people to look at it, yes, but the point was that it was a very creative idea to do that, and I don't see somebody coming up with that and transforming their art because they're selling pieces, by the square inch.